I've never been accused of that before in my life. Okay, let's start our meeting. It's 9:03 a.m. Not that far from Christmas. Priscilla? Can you do the roll call?
Roll call, please. George?
Here.
Tom?
Here.
Donna?
Here.
Bev?
Here.
Ron?
Here.
Is Bill on speaker?
Yes.
Okay. We have a quorum.
Okay, and we go right to reading of the minutes.
Throw me over. Not that anybody wants to listen to me anyway, but here we go. Board of Directors meeting Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. The Pledge of Allegiance was said by all. We had two deputies from the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office, Deputy Miller and Deputy Griffin, to give information and answer questions regarding driving golf carts on the sidewalk, which was a definite no. Disposal of medications, our patrols, and being vigilant. Due to the bus stop nearby, and for some people it is the last stop because they have run out of money. So please keep your home, car, golf cart, and bikes locked up. They have tags for bikes, golf carts, and keys, which identifies these items as your property if recovered. The non-emergency number for the Sheriff's Office is 941-639-2101. They also spoke on their drug recovery program and their anti-discrimination training. Wayne Young spoke on having a gate installed at the entrance. He gave the pros and cons and asked to have a referendum ballot for the annual meeting so the residents can vote for or against. The regular meeting was called to order by President Beverly Gray at 9:50 a.m. Present Beverly Gray, Bill Snyder, Tom Pody, George Kelly, Ron Shiraki, Donna Fresnella, and Priscilla Thomasevich. A quorum was established. Also present, Manager Bob Duncan. The Secretary read the minutes of the October 21st, 2020 board meeting, which were accepted as read. Correspondence, there were two letters. One from David Bascom, Unit 277, regarding a petition submitted in May by the pool players. Beverly explained that the board had tabled the issue and therefore it was a dead issue. From Roseanne, I never pronounce her name right, Schwenner, Unit 55, and Donna Maloney, Unit 92, regard purchasing an automatic track pool cover. Bob explained that we recently purchased a new pool cover and that he had looked into an automatic pool cover a few years ago and could not find a company that made them big enough for our pool. It would require a lot of changes to the pool and would not be cost effective at this time. Something of that nature could be brought up when the pool needs resurfacing. Copies attached. Bill Snyder spoke on charging a fee to use the RV lot. This is something the board has discussed but not come to a final decision nor voted on. There was some research done and nowhere in our documents was it listed as an amenity. Only 60 slots are available, so not everyone can use it. He stated that he does use it and feels that it would be a good source of revenue to make improvements to the lot. Most parks do charge a fee. He stated that Beverly feels that it should be brought up at the annual meeting so the residents can vote on the issue. Donna Fresnella spoke on the craft fair. Since we cannot have a regular craft fair in the hall, it has been suggested that we have it at the residents' home on their carports or driveways. For park residents only and only crafts, no yard sale items. Donna made a motion that the board allow a one-time only craft fair on December 10th from 10 to 3, seconded by Bill Snyder and voted unanimously. Rules and regulations. Donna Fresnella said her committee had their first meeting on October 28th. There are 5 members. They discussed the dog walking area. The boundaries should be marked. The rules for the fenced doggy area are not in the rules and regulations. They should be. The rules for support animals is legal parking at Tanner Hall or in the cul-de-sac. Changes to the wording on white goods, storage on driveways, checking in and out of the office if you will be gone for 7 days. They will have another meeting on November 23rd. Environmental report by Ron Shiraki. There were 11 requests for lot improvements. All were ordinary requests. Driveways, landscaping, new sidewalks, screenings in a lanai, garage, new shed, and all fell within our rules, so all were approved. He again mentioned the need to remove fruit trees, copies attached. Treasurer's report by Tom Pody. The 2021 budget is not much different from the 2020 budget, except for the SBA loan, which is paid, so PCV is 100% debt-free. The 2021 budget will provide revenue to pay all known 2021 annual expenses and the park's restricted reserve asset replacement fund, which are deposited in 3 different banks for safekeeping. There is $50,000 put aside for improvements on the Tanner Hall. If everything stays on schedule, which with no unforeseen expenses, the 2020 budget should end with a surplus of $110,000 to roll over into the 2021 business year. Also, $15,000, which is not part of the $110,000, has been set aside for the real estate startup fee. He explained some of the highlights of the proposed budget, the increases in water and sewer, cable, and employees' payroll. When he asked if the board or the residents had any questions, he asked the residents if they needed him to have a separate meeting to go over the budget. No one felt it was necessary, so Tom made a motion that the board approve the Port Charlotte Village 2021 annual budget to be sent out to the residents, seconded by George Kelly and voted unanimously. Copies attached. Manager's report by Bob Duncan. He stated that many meetings he attended and the classes for getting his broker's license. The kitchen is 99% finished. 6 to 8 water valves will be installed from front to back on Village Drive. The work is to start around December 1st. Florida Rural Water Association helped him to evaluate the water drainage issues. The overgrown area of weeds and dirt around the dam needs to be cleaned and the ditch dredged. The paperwork for those who wish to run for the board will be mailed out by the end of November with the first annual meeting notice. If you are interested, you can return it to the office. Again, if you have fruit trees you want removed, please call the office. Copy attached. President's remarks by Beverly Gray. Beverly said that she's looking forward to spending Thanksgiving with her son in Tennessee and wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. Since it is Thanksgiving time, she felt it appropriate to thank all the people who give of their time and talent to make our village such a wonderful place to live. She also mentioned that we need 4 people to fill the vacancies on the board next year. Copy attached. Bill Snyder made the motion to adjourn, seconded by Tom Pody, voted unanimously. Meeting adjourned at 10:45 a.m. Respectfully submitted, Priscilla Tomasevich, Board Secretary. Do I hear any changes, complaints?
No complaints. The word free, it should, where it says that it's listed, it's not listed as an amenity, or it is listed, it should say the word free in it. It's not listed as a free amenity.
Oh, okay.
Because it is listed as an amenity in on the website right now. So we should add the word, it's not listed as a free amenity.
Okay. Any other changes, please? Ron? Okay. Then let's say accepted as read with one change. Thank you.
Any correspondence?
We do have one letter. This is from Dave Bascom in Unit 277. Several years ago, a member of the Board of Directors identified a potential safety hazard at the entrance. It was pointed out that golf carts could drive through the entry area. This created a potential for injury to pedestrians entering or exiting Tanner Hall. The suggestion was to purchase potted plants and place them to prevent cats from driving through that space. Although this proposal was an admirable suggestion, it will not resonate with everyone. I believe the suggestion of the planters was eventually dismissed. I have given this entrance treatment some thought. My resolution may remedy a couple of issues and wouldn't cost a thing. Utilizing two welcome benches from the shuffleboard court, there are a total of 8 benches which to be underutilized. I installed them facing each other. They would be located on each side of the entry step area. This would prevent carts from driving through and would provide seating for residents waiting for pickup or just resting. A walking space would be left between the benches and the stairs. The benches would also provide seating for barbecue chefs and helpers during special events. I don't think this is an urgent matter, but sometime in the near future, this proposal could be implemented. I have attached a sketch for your review. David Bascom, Unit 277.
Thank you, Priscilla. I want to bring up the benches, seeing as we've been playing with this for over a year. Okay, can you hear me now? I can get closer. Oh my gosh. Okay, but now I can't see the read. Thank you. Well, that's too close. Thank you, Tom. Anyways, we have looked into some benches, at least Bob has, and we do have a couple of prices here, and they're around $360, $400 each. Is there any discussion of whether or not we should go ahead and just do the benches? From the board.
Where exactly are they going?
Excuse me?
Right there.
Out front here.
Why can't you use 2 of the benches that Dave Bascom had asked? to
I have no
over
problem
there?
either.
I mean, a lot, do those benches get utilized over there, all the benches?
I think that Bob can answer that. He did at our pre-board meeting.
The ones over there, they're okay, but they're kind of cheap and flimsy. The ones I was looking at are just like the memorial benches that are around the park, and they would match.
Oh, okay.
And we could put 2 of them out there, and then like a big planter at the end of each one with some flowers or something in it. I think it would look a lot nicer than just a regular bench.
What about the board? How do you feel about this? Should we just go forward, make a motion? Do I hear a motion to go forward with this?
I make a motion that we purchased, is it 2, Bob?
Yes.
2 benches for in front of the stairs at Tanner Hall to prevent golf carts and cars driving through there.
I think some will still try to.
I'll second.
Okay. It has been made and seconded to purchase 2 benches for the front of the building here. Could we take a vote or have any
We're gonna have
questions?
discussion?
Yes, discussion, go right ahead.
Yeah, first of all, I've never seen a need for it. I've never seen anybody doing it personally, okay? My concern is, you put 2 benches out there, they're gonna be sit for people to smoke on. No, I don't wanna see that underneath the portico.
Anything else? Anyone else?
I really don't think we should bill it as a safety issue, that the benches are gonna prevent somebody from doing it. We should just put it out there because nobody knows if those benches will stop a golf cart or not.
Right.
Well, they're pretty sturdy benches.
Yeah, I know, but you got somebody sitting
They'll
there.
be bolted to the
And they'll be
ground.
bolted down, right?
You got somebody sitting there and they come around the corner.
Once you say it's a safety preventative, we're on the hook for the liability.
Well, we don't have to call it a safety, just a resting point for some people.
After you have somebody sitting on the benches and somebody comes up to the golf course, they ain't just gonna hit the bench, they're gonna hit the person.
Yeah. You mean to tell me you think that people can't see a bench and a person?
Well, they can't see a big block. They can't see a big block.
Well, then they shouldn't be driving.
Ask that lady in Fort Myers that just got hit on her golf cart last night. Ask that lady in Fort Myers that just got killed on her golf cart.
Yeah.
Fort Myers last night.
She was on 41.
She was on the main road.
We're trying to cross.
Driving a golf cart on 41.
Yes, crossing.
That we saw her.
Well, that's because she pulled out in front of the car.
I understand, I'm just saying it's a golf cart.
I know, but that's really not the same.
Any more discussion on this? Where's Ron? Stand up, Ron. Talk loud.
We have a
Ron
mic right
Wheeler,
here.
number 191. Why can't you just, if you're gonna put 2 benches out there, that might be a good thing to keep the golf carts from going through there, but on the end of the bench, just put a big sign, says no golf carts. Wouldn't hurt anything. But somebody might pull in there and try to get around it, like you said.
Okay. Any more questions, discussion? Can we call for a vote? Do you want,
Donna?
Yes.
George?
No.
Tom?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Bev?
yes.
And myself, yes. Ron?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Motion passed.
thank you. Bill, it's your turn. You want to have a few minutes to speak?
Yes, I did. There's lots of ideas floating around the park now as to how we could use our extra money that we're going to have. And we're going to be sending out a survey when we mail out the next mailing for the elections, asking the residents' thoughts on several different items. I just wanted to remind everyone, when we had our town hall meeting 2 years ago, at that time we decided that the number one priority was to complete the kitchen, which we have done. I think we've done a beautiful job. It's completed in such a way that we should get many, many years of enjoyment out of it. Unfortunately, before we could do the kitchen, we had to update the electric in Tanner Hall, which was something that had not been done for years. And we did it properly, we did it the right way, and it has been updated that it will serve us for many years into the future. The second thing that we had as a priority was the completion of handicapped restrooms. And the third thing was the completion of a stage and a sound system. I just do not want us to lose sight of the fact that we have only completed the first part of the 3 parts that we discussed 2 years ago. We still need to complete the handicapped restrooms, and we still need to complete the stage and the sound system. So when you receive this survey, and there are different thoughts and ideas of what they would like to see, I encourage you to keep in mind that we still have these other 2 parts of our survey from 2 years ago that has not been done. Tom has alluded to the fact that there is $50,000 in the Tanner Hall Fund to work on additional things. So I just hope that we, in the future, when the new board takes seat, that they will remember that these 2 things have not been completed yet, and that $50,000 be spent towards the completion of these items. That's all I wanted to say.
Any discussion? Make a good point there, Bill. Anybody have any questions?
On top of the 50,000 that Bill mentioned, there's also going to be a surplus of 110,000 I mentioned. So we're actually looking at 160,000 that we can put into Tanner Hall. So we can get a lot of this done in a timely manner while we're all dealing with this virus that we have out there before we started having our activities again. So the money's there. It all depends on how the board and the residents want to spend it.
And to that end, we're sending out an owner survey. There will be several questions on, I'm sorry.
Barbara?
Barbara?
Yes, I just wondered, instead of limiting to the sound system, could you make that a little broader in the survey and say audio-visual system? Because there's so many new things that can be done, you know, like we've got the TVs, but we could be doing things where we post the agenda and just all kinds of things that could happen in the hall that would make it more accessible. So just so people realize it's a little broader than just sound, but also audio-visual.
Good point, Barbara.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
One question.
Push the
Press
button.
the button.
The red one.
You got it.
There it is. Okay, on this survey deal they're putting out there, now that's not just something we're gonna do next year, you know, so don't vote on it as, oh, can't do it or something. This might be a 5-year project on some of these things, you know, down the road. It's just to get the idea of who wants something, you know, and we'll look forward to it in the future. Not something that, hey, if you voted on it, we're gonna do it right, what now? Because it could be 5 years before we get some of those things done.
And to that, I'd like to add one thing that nobody even talks about, is giving back. You know, the park is doing so well. Doesn't mean we have to spend every dollar that we take in. You know, 5 years ago, we were on a campaign to put $1 million in our restricted reserves and increase our annual fees or our homeowners fees by $10 a month for 5 years. We did that for 2 years and then we stopped it. This year, if we're gonna have 110,000 left over, if we didn't spend that money, we could give each homeowner here a rebate, a refund, whatever you wanna call it, of $240. You know? Who can't use $240? So I'm just saying there's two sides to this equation. You can keep on spending, or you can give back because we don't abuse our equipment. And then, you know, the money's gonna be there year after year, folks. We just don't have to spend it year after year.
Right.
My comment, thank you.
I like that thought. Okay, the owner survey, there's several questions on it. It's really a very simple one, just get it, it'll be in your packet, get it, turn it back in so we can see what you're looking for. It's just a yes or no answer. However, if you want to look at these and say, yes, I like this one, can we do this one first? Mark it that way, that's all. Just say, how about being it in the first year or something? But anyways, make sure you return your surveys. They're very easy to read. Most of us understand it, so me too. So please turn that back in. Anybody want to say anything about the survey? Jerry up there.
Jerry.
I can't, okay. Jerry, you want the mic?
158, the question of the handicap accessibility for the restrooms. That's been bannered around for a number of years. How much effort have we already put into evaluating what would be required for that? Or would it be a ground start project?
Jerry, I think that there's been on and off campaigns to decide what design would be best for that restroom, what handicap accessories we need to make us in compliance. I think if you talk to Bob, he'll be able to tell you 2 or 3 different designs that have been discussed, but nothing's been finalized as we were concentrating on the kitchen. But there have been thoughts, and I think things put on paper as well, so.
We had drawings done a few years back before the kitchen started, and it was the whole building, and it had the kitchen plans in it, it had the bathroom plans, and it had a stage renovation or a different layout for that, with the audio video system being upgraded at that time. So we had that bathroom drawn with the building as a whole. So now that the kitchen's done, we'll probably have to go back and revisit that and make sure, have an updated drawing done and make sure everything would be in compliance with ADA and with the county and everything.
Did we ever get a price on that?
You know, I don't know that, we had one specific to the bathrooms, it was to do everything in the building, but 80,000 kind of stands out to me to redo the bathrooms, because they're gonna have to eliminate one shower, make one in there that's handicapped, make the stalls handicapped, put in some additional sinks, talk about relocating that cabinet in there where the water heaters are, and moving that around, so it's not just a matter of putting in, new flooring and painting the walls. It's a major renovation similar to the kitchen.
But your guesstimate is around.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, if you broke it down on that bid that we got originally. And that, like I say, but that was the kitchen, bathrooms, and the stage, everything. But I think the bathroom was around 80, so. We'd have to check though and get an updated drawing and an updated price on it.
When we look into that, would you kind of think about having an on-demand hot water rather than those tanks?
Yes, and that would take up a lot less room than the tanks.
Anything here from the board or from the audience? Chuck?
As Tom said, we have this extra money and want to give it back to the people. I think what you should consider is more generous raise for our maintenance department out here who works hard. If we pay them more, they'll appreciate it. We'll keep better people. And that's where some of this money should go, because I think they are really underpaid.
Chuck, that's a good idea, and as mentioned at the pre-board meeting that you attended, Bob and I have already discussed the budget for 2021, and he says there's more than enough money in the salary range category of the budget to fund his employees appropriately, so we got that under control. Thanks.
Good information. Anybody else? If I don't see you right away, jump up. Okay, anything on the board, from the board? Bill, you all set with what we said?
I'm good with everything.
Okay. Okay, next on my list here, we've got to have the candidate. Okay, I don't like being this close to any mic. However, next on the list is the candidates, meet the candidates. We have to meet the candidates and have them give an opportunity to say what they were bringing to the board, what they want to see done while they're on the board, and I'd like to set that up right now. Any times appropriate? Okay, and the next week, are all the candidates going to be here?
So we haven't got to the deadline yet, there could be more turned in.
We don't know
No, we
who
don't.
they are.
No, we don't.
I don't know, is Ron running, Chuck running?
We
I have
don't
no
know if there's any
idea.
additional.
Maybe they want to tell us. I don't know.
But we could put it out like.
Learning things.
I would suggest that you do it after the first of the year, to let all the candidates put in their slips.
That would be good. However, we don't have that much time because the annual meeting is when the votes are done. And you want to make sure you have that done before then, so everybody will know, be able to put a face to the candidate.
We could do it maybe.
What about,
first week in
like
January.
January 6th is a Wednesday, we could do it after coffee on January 6th. And that way everything will be in and everybody will know who's running.
Who's running?
Okay?
If that works, it doesn't matter to me, but
Well, I
that's.
thought about that also, putting it off. However, okay, just a minute. However, if we do that, and they sit up here and they tell us what they want to do and who they are, we don't have an idea by the time the ballots go out. The ballots are going to be short time. Am I correct, Bob?
They're going out by the end of December, and actually probably prior to that, they'll probably go out the week before Christmas. That's what I'm pushing for.
But people don't vote right away.
No,
So we've got until February.
Friday's the deadline.
When the ballots are down.
Yes, Barbara?
The first Wednesday of every month is the social club meeting, so January 16th. We
We
have
can do it after that.
We can do it right after. But you really want to have a time when most people are going to be here in the hall to hear them.
Well, it can be a Tuesday or a Thursday.
How about next Tuesday?
Well, no, I think I'm hearing that they would like to have it after the holidays.
I really think we should wait till January.
Ron?
Shouldn't the people have the candidate's letter before you have the meeting, so they'll have a little bit of background ahead of time on the candidate?
Yeah.
And maybe some questions for them?
Right. What's the deadline?
This Friday.
This Friday? You still got till Friday?
Okay, can we set a date? Somebody got a calendar here?
Let's have a different date than the social club meeting, because we messed them up last year. We did the same thing, I believe, last year, and it's not fair to them.
We do it January 7th, the Thursday after.
Thursday after, January 7th? At what time?
I want to make a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
10 a.m.
A couple of years ago, we moved our annual meeting from December until February. And the big reason at that point in time was the snowbirds kept saying, well, we never get to vote, we never get to see, we don't know who these candidates are. So the big thing was to have the candidates night after, sometime in January. But even, I'm saying the 7th, and a lot of snowbirds may or may not be back by then. But if that was the big impetus to do it, then I think we ought to push it off a week or two in January. You still have several weeks before the actual vote itself, so.
I'm good with any of these suggestions. All I want is a date. January 7th? What day is that?
Or you can do it on the 13th if you feel lucky, if I'm on Wednesday.
Thursday the 7th.
Morning or afternoon?
Morning.
We used to have it in the evening.
Yes, we did.
Beth, when's the annual meeting? February 1st?
Yes,
Yes.
Monday the 1st.
Okay, we still on January 7th? What time? It's a Thursday. What time do you want to have it?
I don't know, ask, which, morning or afternoon? Morning?
Or evening.
Afternoon?
How many want it morning? Looks like a majority want it in the
Already
morning.
count?
10 a.m.
Yep.
Okay, we got it.
Yeah.
January 7th at 10.
Okay, get your resumes in. Looking good.
What day of the week is that?
That's a Thursday.
Could I just suggest that to help people know that this is coming up, that Bob put in the packet that goes out, that if you want additional information about the candidates, there will be a candidates meeting on January 7th. That way people can know that they can find more. A lot of people will otherwise will just complain.
I'll send a text alert out too, Barbara. I'll send a text alert out to everybody
Okay.
on the date and the time.
Yeah, but if you-
Probably a couple of them.
With the packet.
Sure,
Okay.
yep.
Okay, we're all set. Dan Koganauer has a view on the gate question, which is being, the gates.
All right, since we're not having a general meeting for everybody like we had a couple years ago, Wayne did a great job last month bringing up the gate. I wanted to follow up a little bit, since I lived in a community that had one of these gates. Number one, it is not a security gate. I don't want anybody to have the feeling that you're secure. What that gate is two pipes, PVC pipes that are this diameter, sticking out about 12 feet. And as Wayne said last month, they can be broke off. They're bolted on to a plate with breakable bolts. Now, what you're looking at is like your finger. If you push back here, you're not going to move it. You go out to this end, you can break that gate off so they can get in. Another thing, at the end of the gate, there will be a 3 to 4 foot walkway to allow you to walk in and out of the park, your bicycles in and out of the park. So anybody coming into the park in the evening to go through cars or whatever can walk in. It's not a security gate. I don't want people to feel, oh, I'm secure, I don't have to worry about stuff. No, you're not. So to go on from there, you will have a code to get into the gate that we will have either a sticker on our windshield, or like we had at Suncoast Lakes, we had these. With a button, open the gate when you came in. Your friends, your relatives, people coming in to do work on your house, you give them a code to get in. And Dave's sitting up here, he can tell you a fact. When I lived at Suncoast Lakes, we had a code to get in. Everybody in the county knew that code. You just put it out to one person, they have to say something to somebody else, it's all over the county. Anybody can get in. The sales lady, as we were talking to her, said, well, you can change it. Okay, you change that code every month. When you change the code, you have to send that out to every owner in this park. Bob will. Also, it has to go out to the post office. It has to go out to the county for the trash. It has to go out to the electric company. And what I'm getting to on this is everybody's going to have that code before it's even going into effect. So the code is something that people are going to get in. I still relate back to it's not a security gate. To go further on that mailing out, we're talking about, let's get to the price of this. Wayne said $35,000 to $39,000 for the gate. That's the main post, the two mechanisms for the gate. That's what you're getting. On top of that, it then comes back to us. You have to put a new electric line out to it. You got to have a separate electric line to that. Because the box operates the gate, has the readout in there, or the type out area, whatever you want to call it, to put the code in. All right, we get to that. The gate, the lady told us you had to be 20 to 30 feet from the road to your gate. That's fine. We're coming off Kings Highway. Suncoast Lakes, if you don't know where it's at, is on the other side of Maple Leaf off of County Road. If you block that, it's no big deal. I've got a 41-foot motor home. I put my car on the back. I'm 60 feet long. You've got a 30-foot gate, or a 30-foot length to the gate. I turn left off Kings Highway. Where does that leave my car? Right across Kings Highway. So at that point, you're going to have to extend that. By the time we get done, the gate itself will be toward the end of the office or to the stoplight or stop sign to allow them to come in. On top of that, you have to have a turnaround for the people to come in, and the honest people to come in that can't get through the gate. They got to turn around and go back out. They can't back out on Kings Highway. So we'll get in, all this stuff is all involved in it. So when you're doing that, then you're fencing that whole entrance, both sides. It eliminates the entrance to the office, off Village. It eliminates the little walkway to the little park. So that is all blocked off at that time. People coming in to look at houses. I've had 13 homes, Bonnie and I have. Every home, I looked at the area before we bought to see if it's even an area we wanted to go to. So you're holding these people out. If the office isn't open, they're not getting in to look at homes that are up for sale. That's just a little side effect. I mean, it doesn't mean a whole lot. Okay, let's get to the price. Wayne stated 35 to 39 for the gate. I'm talking thousands. Okay, then you got to do the road work. You got to do the electric work. You got to put the fence up. You're probably another 40 to 50,000. Am I pretty close from? So when you get done, you're looking at 80,000 for a gate. We got to be honest about it. and you're not secure. We'll go back, I'll tell you a little story on Suncoast Lakes. 6 years ago, when we were still there, they redid the gate. Security. All new things, put timer on the opening, only one car allowed in at a time. Well, that worked fine, except when the trash trucks came. Over there, they came door to door. We had 3 trucks a week. First 2 weeks that gate was there on a timer, our little pole got knocked off 5 times. We did not have maintenance. It cost us $200 every time to put it back up. Plus, we had to pay for damage to the trash trucks. After the 5th time, the county sent us a notice they were no longer coming to Suncoast Lakes. We would have to bring our trash to the road, the main road out front. So what we did over there, you can go over there right now, you can drive it. The gates were open from 4:30 in the morning until 7 at night. Those gates were wide open. A lot of us over there decided, we wasted our money. We were not that secure. We had just as many problems over there as we have here, if not more. It's like a game. We went out one day, both gates were broken. Why they broke the exit gate, I'll never know, because you can drive up and it opens. Both gates were broken. To replace a gate, if it's broken, is $400, just for the gate. Both gates were broken. Our post with electrical numbers and stuff was smashed. They took a hammer to that. All the cameras that they could reach were broken. We had to replace all of it. So in the long run, I just want to lay this out to you that, yes, a selling point to a lot of people, you're in a gated community. Once you've lived in a gated community, you look back and say, why? I would never go to another gated community. I just would never do it. It's a lot of extra money. And when you get into the money, Wayne stated that it's $1,000 a year for maintenance on the gate. If we change the code every month, $250, $300 for the mailing, close, about 500 mailings. Okay, you got another $3,000 for mailing. That's just the postage. It doesn't take in the envelopes, the letter, the paper, and all that. So when you're looking at this, it's a lot of money up front. It's going to be quite a bit of money through the year. So just wanted to make that point. Ron?
You mentioned a lot of stuff and a lot of things that sufficient information there probably to make a decision on, but isn't there also a monthly or annual maintenance fee? Don't you have to have a company that comes down?
You can sign it. We did over there because we did not have maintenance. Now, if this pole just gets knocked off, does not get broke, just the breakaway bolts break, you can remount it. For them to come out, like I say, over there, it costs us $200 every time. We've got maintenance, but when our maintenance come up there, you're talking 3 people for an hour. 2 to hold the post, the 3rd guy to put the bolts back in. You can figure an hour's time.
That's if it's only the post.
That's if
Electronics or something where you got another.
well, then you got a lot of extra money if you get into electronics. So as you're making this decision, look at the whole picture. Wayne did a tremendous job presenting it. I'd never say anything bad about that. Wayne, you go ahead, you have a question.
Yeah, let me just go and reiterate a few things here. First of all, some of you may be interested to know that if we put the gate in, it's going to be at the end of where the office building is now. That's approximately 500 yards from Kings Highway.
Right.
So nobody's going to be stuck out on the highway. Let's get that clear.
That's why I said we had to bring it
No,
down
that's
further.
not a problem. That's a zero problem, okay? The maintenance is $250 a year from the company. I'm estimating, when I wrote that down, approximately $1,000 for anything else that may go wrong. According to the woman that we talked to, most of the maintenance can be done by just people from our maintenance people, like they do the lift stations. So we could eliminate that almost totally if we wanted to. But if we was gonna have professionals come in and oil it, et cetera, that's fine. These breakaway bolts, as if somebody hits the arm, you know, if you're sitting there for a second in front of the gate and you hit your accelerator, this happened to us all, you could hit the gate. Rather than have to replace the gate, which is $400 of the arm, okay, if it's damaged, which I would guess you'd have to do more than just hit it, unless you hit it at a real good clip. They're $400. Otherwise, these bolts break away. I don't want you to think they just snap off, you go over and touch them. You gotta hit them at a pretty good clip, okay? And then you go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Wayne.
Can you let people know that we're not, this is something they're gonna be saying yes or no, and it's not like we're gonna.
Yeah, you know, when I gave you the information last month, I gave you the information for one gate. There's many gates out there and they do many different things. This was to give the people basic knowledge of how an example gate would work. Now, there are other things that can be done, okay, as far as the gate goes. I don't know if anybody, since we're gonna put the gate at the end of the office, which means anybody that's gonna come in here and start smashing it is gonna have to do it right in front of the office. I don't know where Dan's place was, if the gate was all by itself and there's nobody around it so they could go and do that. That would be one instance, obviously. If we have a building right there and they're gonna walk beside our building to get to the gate so they can smash it, that's pretty good deterrent. The other thing is,
Just a minute, you just stay there. They're doing that in the middle of the night.
I know that, they're doing it in the middle of the night, I understand that. But what I'm saying to you is that if you have nothing around versus having a building right in front and you gotta walk past the office building, it's a deterrent. And the gate is not a dome. I've never said that. We're not gonna put plastic around this building and make a big dome out of it and keep you safe. This is to keep automobiles out of the park that don't belong here. They can jump over the fence. They can do that right now. What I'm telling you people is this. Why do you lock your doors on your house? I can take a little 5-inch pry bar, put it in my pocket, and open the door in 3 seconds. You have it because it's a deterrent. You lock your house because you feel safer. You figure if you put an ADT sign out in front, they're not gonna go to your house, they'll go over to the other guy's house that doesn't have the ADT sign. This is not a foolproof system. The biggest problem we have here, when I talked to the deputies way back in January, is we had 3 parks right here, bing, bing, bing. If you're joyriding as a teenager, which is most of where most of this crime happens, they go down to the first one, they can't get in with their vehicle. They go down to the second one, they can't get in with their vehicle. And believe me, they want to be next to their vehicle to get away. So the chances of jumping the fence and doing the robbery doesn't make a lot of sense. They want to be with their vehicle. They get to our park and they go, oh, Merry Christmas, we can go right in. And that's what happens. Every single time we've had somebody come into this park and they've gone through the cars, they have a car.
Excuse
They're
me,
not
Wayne.
walking in.
Excuse me, Wayne, I think they get your point. I know I have, and, but could you just cut it a little bit shorter?
Sure. I don't know about the electrical stuff. I do know that we are going to have to extend the fence or some kind of a barrier from where the fence is now at the entry to the building. That's approximately 30 yards. And then going across the other way, we can either come down from where the fence is, which is a lot, or just straight across. The only thing that becomes a way you can get into it, if you do it that way, would be where the gazebo is. okay? But what you wanna do, you wanna make it so people can't drive out of here with a car, get around it.
You can drive out.
How long is that gate gonna slow me down if I steal your car?
Well, no, if
If you're stealing a car.
you're stealing the car, this is not to keep the people in.
Steal your car and I go to the exit gate, how long is that gonna slow me?
The exit gate will actually open.
Okay, let's not have an argument
They got
here.
your code number to get in.
Let's just wrap this up. This is it.
Look, this is to keep the cars, you're making a mistake. This is to keep the cars out, not to keep the cars in. If they're in here, they're in here, they can take anything you want out.
Wayne,
Yes,
it's gotta stop.
okay.
Thank you.
You did present your case before. This was just
Okay, that also is on the survey. Anything you answer on the survey, take in, there are costs. And those costs are gonna be going on forever and ever. And it may end up increasing your fees. It has to eventually. However, look at each item on the survey with the idea, do I really want this or do I not want this? Do I want it in the future? So make your notations as that, okay? Thank you.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I've lived here almost 33 years.
Is that Reba?
I'm Reba Barker from 481. I've lived here almost 33 years. And we have had, yes, and so has Elaine, and we have had very few break-ins of any consequence. And I understand that, yes, people do get paranoid and things do change. The times have changed. But we have not had any problems, and what have been very minor, basically. And there's always been resolved. I just can't see putting all that money in a gate when we've gotten along so well and I've never been, and I'm here 11 years as a widow and never had a qualm once about any problem. So that's just my opinion. I just don't think that it's worth that much money to do all of that.
Thank you, Reba.
Something that's gonna cost us for the rest of the.
Thank you, Reba. Okay. Let's keep on going. Okay, the Coconut, we're all set with the gates. We do have prices on them. If anybody's interested in the prices that we have, please contact Bob. Treasurer's report.
Talking about rules?
Rules we have to.
Rules and regs. Well,
Wait a minute.
you
Okay.
rearrange things.
Okay.
You want to?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Good morning, neighbors and friends. Just two quick items. This morning, Bob gave me the final papers from the SBA loan showing that the mortgage has been canceled. So we'll be putting that on file in the front office. As soon as we can all get together, we're gonna have a party of some type. We just have to figure out how to do it. And I think if we put a bonfire in the parking lot out here in Tanner Hall, we'd melt the asphalt, so we gotta find a different place. The second thing is, this morning I need to ask the board to vote on the 2021 budget. I gave out one budget that showed the funding of $50,000, the $50,010.80 for the state of Florida, going back into restricted reserves. And then we also put another $83,000 into there. And last year we underfunded, or another word would be shorted, the restricted reserves by $50,000 and used that in our general budget. So we really need to approve two budgets today. One shorting at $50,000 and another leaving the $50,000 in a restricted reserve. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the budget for 2021. Comments? Ron?
I got a question, not on the budget, but on the SBA, before you get away from that completely.
Excuse me, just 1 minute, Ron. I'm told that we need a second on my motion before we can discuss it.
Thank you, Sharon. Yes.
I would agree with that. When we moved in,
When we moved into the park, we were told it was free storage in there.
moved into the park, we were told it was free storage, and it was kind of implied that it was one of the amenities that went along with everything else in the park.
That's why we're passing it on to the next board. You can see how everybody has different opinions on it.
Steve Weiss in 161. I feel the same way as this young lady Sharon just talked about, because I have a trailer in there also. So this affects me more so than I would like to think. You know, the extra money.
Yeah, when we moved in 20 years ago, it was all free too. That was 20 years ago. They told us when we bought our place that it was for free. So I think it should stay the way it is.
Well, I understand. I think I'm hearing just from the people who have a space. No, I know you don't now.
I don't have Jerry.
Jerry's got a.
Jerry?
Okay. Jerry Geiger, 158. Just, we're hearing all the negatives about why we shouldn't do anything with the park. My interest would be somewhat of a survey of the surrounding parks. Do they have storage capabilities similar to this? Do they have the ability for people to store their units? And if so, is there a monthly or an annual cost associated with that? So, Donna, you have a...
I did a survey. We belong to an association, the Board of Directors, and I surveyed, I don't remember how many, at least 20 or 30 parks, and got the prices and what they had. And the majority do charge. There were several that didn't, and several that had very small areas. We can accommodate, I believe, 60 spaces. But the thing is, it's not everybody uses that particular area. It's not open to every individual here, like the pool is, and bocce and all those things. Those are all open to everybody, and certainly we don't charge, we wouldn't charge for those, but the storage is limited. Not everybody can use it, and most of that money is going to be used for upgrading. You know, at some point, maybe we can eliminate that fee again. But right now, there's no security over there. The gates need to be fixed. Some paving needs to be fixed, more lighting put there. So at the beginning, all of that money will be used to upgrade that park. It's not going to be left the way it is. But it's not open to everybody. And if you went outside the park, you would be paying a lot more than what we're thinking about.
Did you get a general consensus as to the range of costs associated with that from the other parks?
I do, but I don't remember. I don't have it with me. I don't remember. There was some lower than what we're thinking. There was, some a lot higher than what we're thinking.
Did you take into account the HOA fees because of the parks that also have?
I didn't hear that.
I don't know who said that, and I don't know what they said.
I'm Lorna from, let me see, where are we, 334.
Iowa.
Yeah. Take into consideration the HOA fees, because we pay quite a bit here. We've only been here since August. We did look around at other parks, and one of our amenities too was to have our camper here. So look at HOA fees as well as charging a fee for the storage.
Yeah, I think that's a good point there too. You know, we have a lower association fee here. I think if you go to our neighbors at Kingsgate or Maple Leaf, you'll find it's a little bit higher than what we pay. But anyways, you can see it's a hot item, and we're more than happy to turn it over to the next board. Thank you.
We'll see when the survey comes in. If everybody's in favor of it, we'll do it. If it's not, we won't.
Send out a survey.
Remember, it only benefits 60 people. 60 people only. Everything that has to be done there has to be paid by 435 people.
What exactly has to be done there?
Well, first of all, The fencing is poor, it needs some cameras, it needs paving, it needs a lot of little things. And like I say, it's not an amenity for everybody, it's only for 60 people. My opinion. Okay, environmental report, Ron. Oh, I'm sorry, one more person.
While on 243, I also have a unit that I put in.
Why don't you grab the mic?
Hi, I also have a unit that I put in that parking lot, and I'm in the same spot as a lot of these other people. When I came in here, that was one of the things I was looking for. Because although it may be a lower rate, it still is a lot of money to a lot of people here who are on fixed incomes. And this is probably a lot, we use that for our main entertainment. That's how we go and we do things. If we didn't have that, we'd have to cut back on a lot of other stuff we do. So that's the reason we came to this park also. And as far as the pool and any other, everything else you've got here, which is an amenity, a lot of us don't use that. You know, and that's our choice, I understand that. So also it's the choice of the people that come in here, whether or not they want to get in that lot. And most of the time that lot is full, which means there's a lot of people waiting to get in there. So when somebody leaves, they jump in and they grab that lot. So I'd say, you know, if you're considering voting on this in the future, I'd say, hey, say no, because it's important to a lot of other people, maybe only 60 units, but that's 120 people in most cases. So it's not a few people.
Sharon. Okay, wait a minute. Sharon, you gotta come up and grab the mic.
I just have a quick comment. We were told when we came in, it was first come, first served. You know, not everybody needs the storage area. Not everybody uses it. So if you're told when you come in, it's first come, first served, then you know that coming in, that you may have to wait.
Okay. Okay, are you all done, Donna?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Moving on to Bob.
No.
No. Oh, what? You're doing it about Bob?
Environmental report. We had 6 lot mods this month, removing wheelchair ramps, driveway modifications, shrub removal, just minor stuff, AC units replaced. They were all approved. That's all I've got, other than still reminding you of the trees, fruit trees. If you got some in your neighborhood you'd like to get cut out, tell Bob.
We've had people call.
That's all I got.
What's that tree down at the end of our street that's got these green things with a big seed in it? Something in that. Take a look at it. It's an avocado.
Some kind of an avocado, isn't it?
Oh, we should get rid of that. It's not on the plate.
I don't know where it's at.
Okay.
That's it again.
Ron, I've called you twice.
No, he's already done.
You're all done.
We're all done.
Okay, good.
6 approved.
Are you sure?
Motion to adjourn?
Not yet. Don't blame you. I feel like I want to say that too.
15 more minutes, Bill.
Bob,
Yes, ma'am.
managers report.
Manager's report for December 16th, 2020. Attended a board meeting, attended a pre-board meeting, attended 3 coffee hours, attended 2 rules and regs committee meetings. And we had a meeting with the attorney in regard to some legal issues that we're working on. Myself and the board met on that. Update on the kitchen, for all intents and purposes, it's 100% complete. We still have, there's a couple little things on a punch list that have to be done. The inspection on the hood has not passed yet because we found out that the ovens weren't working when they came to do the inspection, and I just found out this morning that the outlets aren't hot. That's why the ovens weren't working. So the electrician's supposed to be out to get the outlets going so the ovens will work, so we can get the inspection on the hood done, and then we'll be compliant with everything. It's usable. There's a couple other little minor things that we're gonna take care of here in the next week. B&K Plumbing was supposed to be here yesterday to start the new valves. They didn't show up. I called them, said, where are you?
You're not here. Well, we had some things we needed to finish up, so they assured me they would be here today. So after this is over, I'm gonna go out and look for them and see if they're here working on those valves, or at least digging. That's supposed to take 10 to 14 days to get all those valves put in from the front clear to the back of Village. Once they dig them up and start working on the valves, taking them out and putting the new ones in, water will be going on and off. I will text everybody at least the day before to let you know your water's gonna be off for a little bit, so you're not surprised in the shower trying to rinse your hair. Another one of the projects that I mentioned last month that we're gonna get scheduled here soon is to clean out the dam back here on the lake. Get that riprap cleaned out. There's a lot of grass and dirt in there, which is holding back the water, which is why the lakes don't drain as quick as they should, and some of the streets aren't draining as quick as they should. And get that ditch dredged out back there from the dam, from the riprap clear down to the wall where it goes out to Kings Highway. That'll get the water off the property faster and help keep things drier here, I hope. That's one of the main drains for the entire property, so we want to make sure it's working properly. Florida Rural Water, when I looked at it with them, that was their best suggestion to get the water moving and keep the property drained off. Other possible projects that I'm looking into and some of the board members are looking into include adding solar. I got a bid a couple years ago to add solar to this building, to the office and the pool, to run the pool equipment and help heat the pools and cut down on the power. So we might go back and revisit just doing the pool room first and see how much savings we get on the power bill for that and how long it's gonna take to recoup the installation cost. So I've got those numbers. That's something we're looking into again. Another upgrade that we talked about earlier was the audio video system in here. I do have estimates for that as well. They're from 2 years ago when we had those other plans drawn. So I'm sure prices may have gone up since then. It's the same company that installed this system here, and they did a really elaborate one over at Maple Leaf. We went and looked at that a couple of years ago. They've got good audio and video, and they can show movies inside their clubhouse on a big drop-down screen, and all their other TVs are in sync. So it's something we're going to look at when the upgrades to Tanner Hall happen. I also had a discussion with some people about with the pool cover. We have a problem putting the cover on, taking it off, getting volunteers to do that. The automatic pool covers require tracks that go down the side of the pool, and that track rides in those. And if you got ladders or rails going down into the water, the rails can't go around that, so it doesn't work. But I found another company that makes an automatic cover that doesn't use rails. I've sent our dimensions of the pool to them to see if it's possible to do that size of a pool, and if so, how much it will cost. It's got little perforations on the edge of the cover, almost like paper that runs through a dot matrix printer. If you remember those, they got the little gears and that paper rides on that. That's the way this is, and it's on the edge of it, and then it'll retract back in. It just sort of goes out real slow and floats. It sort of pushes itself out on top of the water, and then you can retract it back with a push of a button. So if that's something possible, I'm gonna get prices on what it's gonna take to do that, so we can eliminate the pool and the reel and people doing it. Reminder again, somebody mentioned the paperwork, if you want to run for the board, is out. Needs to be back in the office by 4 o'clock on Friday, because we're going to get everything printed and start putting the packages together to mail out the ballots and the proxies and everything for the election. And I have another reminder on fruit trees. If you've got any fruit trees you want cut down or removed, let me know, and we'll cut them down. I've had 3 more people call this week and say, hey, I got an orange tree that's dead. Go ahead and take it down. So we are getting some action on that and getting those eliminated. I've also been speaking to a company called Blue Stream Communications in regard to cable TV and internet service. They have a program where they come in and install all new fiber optic infrastructure into a property, and you can get your cable and internet and telephone through them. They've got bundle deals that we can work on, the same as the Comcast, which is a good idea because there's really no competition with Comcast, so it's not really easy to negotiate with them when you don't have anything else to compare it to, or tell them you're going to switch to a different company. So these guys say they can do it. I'm getting information from them. I'm still trying to put the package prices together with their rep And once we get that, I'll present it to the board. And, because I think next year we're gonna have to start probably negotiations with Comcast, because we're gonna be down to like 1 year left on that contract. And they're still using the infrastructure in here that was put in by Cablevision 25, 30 years ago. And it's old and broke down and worn out. So if we can get something that's better, it might be worth switching. As Tom mentioned, we did receive the paperwork back from the SBA stating our mortgage loan was paid in full. I took the paperwork over to the county building yesterday and had it recorded, so it's official. Nobody can come in and record their name to it. Again, due to the virus still going around, please follow CDC guidelines and wear a mask if you need to. Space yourself out from other people so everybody stays safe, and have a good holiday.
Would that include closed circuit TV, Bob? That new system, if we ever went with that?
I don't think it does. It might be an additional thing you can get. The closed circuit TV is part of that package. If we upgraded the internal channel 195, you can get closed circuit with that, put like a camera at the entryway and one looking down different ways, and then people can watch what's going on the property.
That's another item on the survey, whether or not we want to upgrade channel 195. We're trying to find out how many people use that. They look at that for the information about the park. Mostly everything is in the newsletter or text, but some people, I mean, most of us get the newsletter, but not everybody has a computer and not everybody has upgraded smartphones. So we're trying to find out how many people use that and if it's something that we should upgrade, because it's probably close to $10,000 to upgrade the system that we have now. So that's a question on the questionnaire, yes or no, you watch channel 195. So please answer that.
Excuse me, Dan. Ron?
I got a question for Bob, a couple of questions. What was the total price on the kitchen?
I'd have to go back and look through the checkbook. I'm thinking around 87,000.
87.
Because there were some additional things that we added on as we were going along, like the floor in the billiard room. That wasn't on there, but to leave the old tile just didn't look good, so we might as well do it. The back entry door was added on. That was falling apart. Should have been in the original bid, but it wasn't. So that was added on. There was something else. The grease trap had to be added on because that wasn't on there. We didn't know the county was going to make us do that.
What about this, the solar power, you mentioned you're gonna get some numbers on that and figure the recoup?
I've got numbers on it. I've got a bid from 2017, or no, was it 2019. I got bids on doing this building, the office, and the pool.
Does that company give you a recoup time?
They will. I got to call them and ask them. They gave me the bids on what the equipment was, the layout, and the construction of the panels. But I can get a hold of them. They will crunch those numbers by looking at our power bills that we have now.
Yeah. I know when I bought a hybrid car, I was told it took 7 years to, the increase in the cost of the car.
Right.
It took 7 years to equal out with it.
I'm almost thinking they either said 7 or 11 when I talked to them originally. I'm thinking they might have said 11 years, but eventually it does pay for itself, I guess.
Okay. And you talked about the pool cover.
Yes.
Is there anywhere close you can go and see the operation of that?
That I don't know because I'm not sure where they're actually located. I was on their website and then I sent them an email. We've been going back and forth. And I don't think they've done a pool this big. I think it's been a lot of residential, so that's what we're trying to figure out if it'll work. But if it's somewhere close, yeah, I'd like to look at it.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Because it looks like it's a new technology.
Well, I guess they got a video. They probably have a video.
Yes.
Please don't all leave yet. It's only going to be another 5 minutes.
Yes, I could probably send you that link to that video if you want to watch it.
No, maybe, I'll see.
Okay, let me know.
Something else on this, when is the mailing going to be in the mail and in the hands of the owners?
For the second annual meeting notice, you mean?
Yeah, well, that'll have all the candidate information.
Yes, it will. I'm going to try to get that out in the mail. I'm going to try by December 23rd.
Bob, in the past, we have passed out, we'd sit up at the mail and give anybody who's here the opportunity to pick up their packet. Could we perhaps do that? I have actually had someone tell me they'd volunteer.
If they want to do it, sure, we can do that, and then whatever's left, we'll throw in the mail.
Then we could just sell off the
Sure.
ones that people aren't here.
I can let you know when everything's in the envelopes, and then if you want, somebody wants to pass them out,
I've
sure.
got a couple of people that have
Okay,
volunteered.
we can do that.
It would save on the mailing cost. The other thing on this, private housing situation, are you planning on using that as a bargaining tool and have all the money lined up before you talk to Comcast?
Yes, get the prices on what, because they said they will come in and put a whole new infrastructure, and they don't use old equipment, they don't use other people's equipment. They put theirs in, it's all new, and that would be something, then we can go to Comcast and say, hey, here's what we're getting from them. Even if it costs just a little bit more, it might be worth getting new equipment put in, and fiber optic, so, yeah, definitely.
Okay, Ron.
No, that's it.
Thanks.
Okay, Danny?
I got just a short question about, or statement, on these
Oh,
valves,
Chuck too.
those are to shut off certain areas, so we're not completely shut off?
Correct. There's going down Village, so you can shut off a whole section or a street if somebody needs to fix something instead of shutting the whole park down. You'll be able to shut little sections. And then after the 6-inch valves, there's more 2-inch valves like around Club here. You can do the corner and shut that Village off, but there's also some 2-inch ones that will shut some of the cul-de-sacs off by themselves. So you could even isolate it more.
So the sooner we get them, the better.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Chuck and Danny had their names up, and Barbara.
Chuck, go ahead.
I just have a question for Bob. Did we finish on budget on the kitchen? Were we in our budget?
It's a little bit over. I can't remember what the original, 6,000
That's
over.
pretty good.
And that was a lot of the extra stuff that was added as we were going along.
I just wonder if the board would consider giving back the social club their $5,000 they loaned them.
That would be up to the board.
6,000, I guess it is.
Yeah, they donated. So, social club did, but it was,
Okay? Yes, Barbara?
Three real quick things.
I think.
One, in the mailing that's going out about the budget and everything, could there be another kind of detailed explanation of that $50,000 in the reserve fund? I consider myself a relatively intelligent person, and I gotta tell you, I still don't quite understand that, and which is, works best for the park. So if that explanation could be included, that would be really helpful with what's going on. Secondly, maybe if we could ask George and Tom and Bob to stick around afterwards for a couple minutes and take a picture with the mortgage is going to go away from the newsletter. And third, no one's talked about what's going to happen with the annual meeting and getting enough proxies and everything, or what you're planning on doing as far as getting enough people to vote ahead of time. And I wonder if you've talked about that or.
I've got additional information going out in the package about proxies and how important it is to get those in, because I know a lot of people probably aren't gonna come to a meeting. We've got the box that'll be in the office, you can bring them in there, just drop them off ahead of time. You can drop them off here the day of the meeting, or get them in somehow to us. I don't know what we're gonna do as far as the meeting. We can't have the place full. We can't have 200 people in here. We've already had it approved through the attorney to do Zoom. If we put a link out there, everybody can log in. You can use Zoom and log in, and we'll have to have the computer up here so people can log into that. And we can actually take a roll call through that. But that's why I'm stressing the proxies. If you get your proxy in, it doesn't matter if you're on the Zoom call or not, because we've already got your proxy, so we can count you as at the meeting. But we may have to have the doors open, may have to put chairs outside, because everybody's, unless there's miraculous recovery between now and then, we're gonna have to set it up somehow so people can attend up here or online. That's the only options really in some of the other properties. That's what the attorney said they're doing now or planning on doing. So I haven't heard anything better than that. If I do, then we'll definitely look into it.
Thank you, Don. Anybody else? No. Okay. Did we get everybody? I think so. Okay. Okay, president's remarks. Now, this is where the gossip comes in. This is the dirt. 'Twas the week before Christmas and all through the land, Santa was in disguise and checking on his new plan. He changed out of his Florida brandy new clothes and returned to the North Pole just by following his nose. He gave the lovely Mrs. C a description of what he found down below, and Mrs. C begged him for him to be careful. Please do not go back. And until the COVID recedes, Santa, do not fill up your sack. He looked at her sadly and said how he was needed by the seniors of the village that waved to me a warm greeting. I was so happy, my dear, with all that I saw that I popped into the office where I met Manager Bob. He was talking to two pretty ladies named Carol and Beverly, and they took me out to buy a snowbird home for us, Mrs. C. They shared so much information I could not resist. Bring down Mrs. Claus, you must. You are sure, we insist. Manager Bob took my personal documents and secret history, ran a background check through a very special undercover agency. I passed, I think. I passed, and I did, my sweet Mrs. C. I talked to the treasurer, finance team, George K. and Tom Pody, and lo and behold, their budget checks out to the very last penny. And in the summer, when we would come down for our stay, they have a storage place where we can leave our big red sleigh. We must teach our pets to stay in the puppy park with all the others. And Director Donna will see what pets All right, I'm trying to hurry now. And Director Donna will see what pets the rules will cover. We need to walk Rudolph as he may be too round, as the puppy park maximum weight is only 25 pounds. But the tiny reindeer, they must cause quite a stir, unless they are mistaken for bunnies by coloring their fur. I have been turned down for a zoning changes by Director Ron, who said the tiny ones have to leave. They have to be gone, or learn to stop at the stop signs, and they have to behave, as it can be dangerous, as so many don't. They must be brave. For us, my Mrs. C, it will be a different start in our world. Director Bill Snyder hopes that you will help rock his tiny new girl. As Santa turned to his missus and said, we, me and you, will fit in nicely, and our little elves in bathing suits can visit us too. Director Priscilla may interview us, but there'll be a catch. I must be Santa for the singles Christmas party. I am a good match. They have had Santas in the park for many a day. The imposters are ready to retire. Gary Cook and Steve Gray. Because of the COVID, the days have been exceptionally long, and Director Beverly is waiting for some old Christmas songs. Tempers and patience have been worn to a frazzle. However, they are resilient. The residents are ready to dazzle. From all of us to all of you, Merry Christmas. Bill is gone. Can I have a motion?
The motion we adjourn.
I'll second that.